I think this is the most underreported story of the week and perhaps of this election so far. Earlier this week, and I've teased this story over the course of this week, but it's really, really important, I think. Yeah. Earlier this week, Jeb Bush announced that his political action committee, because of course he has not officially announced he is entering the race. That's my understanding, anyways.
Yes.
He told his donors that his political action committee had raised more money in 100 days than any other modern Republican political operation. Some people are saying it's $100 million in 100 days, which is sort of amazing. Now,
if I'm correct, let me just ask this. It's not just his political action committee as in his sort of leadership PAC. It's his super PAC, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the distinction being that you can only give, $5,000 or whatever to a PAC during the primary in general, whereas a super PAC you can give as much as you want.
That's right.
Corporations can, yeah.
That's right.
Go ahead.
This is one of those anonymous donors, fill the coffers of the PAC type of situation that supposedly once he becomes a candidate, he will have no relationship with, right?
Yep.
And so this is at the beginning of this week. Well, about 10 days ago, a little bit less, there was a story in the AP saying that that his PAC, Right to Rise, super PAC, as you say, was actually going to handle and take over a lot of the operations of what campaigns have typically done in the past. So, in other words, this PAC, which he supposedly have nothing to do with, is now going to be in charge of things like television advertising, direct mail. It's also, according to this piece in the AP, it could also get involved in as data gathering, online advertising, running phone banks.
It's going to do a lot of the stuff traditional campaigns did, which is sort of, again, what a similar thing to what the Koch brothers will be doing with their $89 million.
$900 million.
Right. Again, that's why I brought up Anthony Kennedy before. He thought this was okay, and it really does all come down to him because we know on most things, Roberts can be an exception here and there, but mostly it's a 4-4 game. This I think, and Kennedy wrote that decision that there would be no impropriety if it wasn't a quid pro quo. There'd be independence. Yes, sure, that was smart thinking, a lot of foresight there, and this is just a natural evolution if you think about it, because until you're a candidate, you can talk with the people who are doing this stuff.
Exactly.
So there's no point you might as well just not become. And I think this will evolve to other offices too if we don't get rid of it.
Wow,
it's good because with the kind of money we're now talking about, the growing fortunes of billionaires, why wouldn't they do this for congressionals? I mean, a devoted super PAC to one person. Really, at this point, you just need a billionaire you're friends with who's willing to give 20, especially if you're running for Congress, right? 25, 50 million, sets up a separate operation, but before you declare, you keep talking, you make sure all the pieces are in place, then oops, I declared now, we can't talk, as if you can't sort of put up things and say things publicly as a wink, wink. So you tell the others what to do. Like, hey, this poll came out. It only shows we have trouble with this one group, wink, right? Once you say it publicly, or you could put it up on YouTube.
You put it up
on
exactly. In fact, if I remember correctly, they found in the past, I think in the past election cycle, there was like a website, like a forum, essentially, that was sort of just for people in the know. And it was like, here's what I think they should do, and blah, blah, blah. And that's basically the way that they communicate.
And as long as it's public, then you're able to do it.
Right.
And they'll know what to do.
They don't even have to be that clandestine about it. I mean, we know the enforcement on this is a joke. So I think this is something that I don't know was really, I've never heard it articulated exactly this way, because I think this is sort of really brings it into relief that what we're going to see is the campaign, the official campaign, is going to be the functional equivalent of the address in the Bahamas, right? The P.O. box for the corporation that wants to. And so you got the campaign. They don't have to raise any money. You're going to have the PAC the super PAC raising all the anonymous dollars. The campaign is really going to have no responsibilities other than being maybe just like a travel agency for the candidate. And all of the other stuff is going to be outsourced to the super PAC. There's going to be some mechanism in which they communicate, and it's going to be quite obvious. I guess it's conceivable that down the road you could have like a rogue super PAC, but highly unlikely because everyone has the incentive of playing ball so they get the next cycle so that they're running, somebody else's super PAC. And that's basically it. We're going to have the campaigns themselves are going to be out of the business.
And what this is going to evolve into, I'll tell you right now, I can see this already, is the biggest problem you run into as a candidate in terms of when you attack other candidates is that it makes you less likable. So if you can send winks and nods and outsource that whole operation and sort of go on TV and say, I think Hillary Clinton has, with those emails, they tell me she's got a real problem with transparency. Wink, right? And the other side knows that you're going to go after her as cloistered, closed. I mean, people can figure it out. We can figure out where candidates are going. You read between the lines. It's really not tough. And so now you can outsource it. The oppo can be done there. Millions of dollars of opposition research can be done there on the other candidate. The negative ads, the negative mail, and frankly, if you want to, you could just run the positive side of things. I mean, obviously the other side, the super PAC can do that, some of that too. But the point being, then you sound all cheery and positive, and when attack them, hey, I'm not coordinating with them, and I can't get them to stop. I mean, I ask you to stop. Please stop right now. I do not condone this. And then, of course, your super PAC person who isn't coordinating with you says, no, we believe this must be out there and part of the conversation. Done. You have effectively outsourced the part that makes people like you the least.
Indeed.
I think we're headed to that place. I mean, just when you think politics can't get more negative, and again, it's for one candidate. It's not. This is no longer. We're talking about. This is the super PAC that helps elect senators or whatever. We're talking about each individual candidate having one of these. And I think eventually, if this isn't changed, this will get down to the state legislative level. You'll see state legislative seats costing a couple $1 million at least.
Yep.
Because that's where we're headed.
Yep.
And TV can make money off of it. Consultants can make money off of it. There's too many people who are at the trough who are profiting from this. And
there's nothing holding back that money now, right? I mean, because if you can donate through a super PAC and you're essentially giving to a campaign, you can give unlimited amounts of money, virtually, almost totally anonymous, and so there's no reason not to. I mean, that's one of the other aspects of the massive income inequality we have.